What up, what up, what up, what up? It's iPad BeatMaker.com, just doing another live test with BeatMaker 3, trying out new configuration, making sure that the audio is good, the visuals are good. I've seen a few things with the test from yesterday that I just wanted to clean up a little bit. So I'll probably be tweaking this until we, kind of get to a format that's a little, a little bit smoother. I heard the voice was echoing yesterday. That's not good. Some of the images were a little pixelated on the live, so hopefully it's improved today. But yeah, I'm gonna just be playing around in BeatMaker 3 and chopping it up with y'all and, just seeing how it goes. If y'all hear any audio issues, please let me know. Video issues, please let me know. If y'all like the format, let me know. If you don't, if you want the piano to be bigger or something like that, let me know. And I'll see how I can adjust it. Benjamin's in the building. What up, bro? DJ Easy TV says, what up, bro? What up? How y'all feeling? Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where y'all at. Hopefully everything is lovely for y'all. All right, so what kind of beat are we in the mood for today? I don't know. I feel like cheating again. Let me go ahead and load Adam Piano Roll 2, do a scale lock. I swear this is the ultimate cheat code. It's not even fair. The thing with desktop is desktop got a lot of powerful stuff, but iOS in some ways just has really effective workflows. I really think AUV3 and AU MIDI is superior to a lot of other formats. And iOS is really spectacular at how it's able to put it together. Like when you go to some of the desktop apps and see the routing that's required and kind of how convoluted some of them make it. And iOS is really ahead of the curve on a lot of stuff. So if you have not really embraced the AU MIDI culture and AUV3s in general, man, on iOS, definitely check them out, because I've tried Ableton, and Ableton's getting AUV3 support, so I should probably keep them out of this. But like FL Studio, Machine, and some other apps, I mean, iPad is really superior with the AUV3 routing. I think the only one that could probably beat iPad is probably Logic with the AUV3 routing. All right, I'll start off with that, just something simple. Start there, save it. Put a filter on this little too. Maybe see what crystalline sounds like on this. Benjamin says Logic is special, Ableton is special. Yeah, they're definitely very special desktop apps, especially if you got like controllers that are compatible with them, like launch pads and certain controllers. Like even this controller, the complete controller, is a good controller for it. check. All right. How's our audio level sounding? Benjamin says, BeatMaker 3, for what it can accomplish, is the best to me on iOS. Yeah, BeatMaker 3 is incredible. I can't believe that it took me going back to the machine and kind of seeing that workflow to really just understand, and even the Akai MPC Live too, to really understand just how special BeatMaker 3 really is, because there's not much you can accomplish, especially if you use it the same way you would use an Akai MPC or a machine. You would usually build out your beat, and then you would export it to the DAW of your choice to finish mixing. And if you use BeatMaker 3 that same way, it's incredible, and it's tiny on an iPad. You can even get an iPad mini and have it really like pocketable, and you're able to get AU V3 MIDI. You're able to have, splice directly on deck. You can, sample really easily through it. You can build kits for it. There really is no better probably solution to portable music making than iOS. When you compare these expensive groove boxes, they're cool, and it's nice to have that tactile feel. I'll give it that, but the reality of being able to have Scalar on it and have so many different AUV3s and then audio layer, which has disc streaming and stuff, you can't beat it. It's unbeatable. I think the iPad, despite its deficiencies in certain areas, is really the best non-desktop music making solution that exists. Desktop is cool, but even, if you don't got certain equipment, you can run FL Studio and draw everything in. People are great at that. That's not taking nothing away from that. But you don't have none of the tactile feel like you would with a BeatMaker 3, where you could bang on the pads even though it's a screen, and you can have this playable piano right here, and just instantly come up with stuff. If we could get the libraries like the Completes, some of the Spitfire stuff, some of the Spectrasonic stuff, I don't know that desktop is really seeing the iPad on a lot of levels. I am Steven Tucker says the audio sounds good. Appreciate it. And he says, I am full iPad. What apps are you using on iPad to create? Oh, and another app y'all need to check out for sure is Decent Sampler. Join the Discord. I should probably drop a link for the Discord. But if you join the Discord, I got a huge download file list that you can get all the decent samples libraries, or you can go straight to Piano Book. That's a good place to go. But yeah, the decent sample stuff is crazy. Look at these Piano Book libraries. That's one. That's two, and then we got three. And I'm sure this was all done a while ago. I'm sure now there's a whole bunch more. But yeah, you got these libraries. You can also, buy some of them, really good ones. But yeah, man, Decent Sampler is really good. And Audio Layer is really good if you're going to be doing stuff yourself. And Steven Tucker says he's using Cubase's 3. That's definitely not a bad investment. Cubase's 3 is quite capable, and it's constantly being updated. I think it's probably overdue for an update now, and I'm anxious to see what they'll add on the next update. It's probably going to be incredible. So, in terms of getting the most active updates, Cubase is definitely one of the top DAWs without question. BeatMaker 3 hasn't been updated in a while, but it's just, so good still that I don't know if it really, a lot of people feel like it needs to be updated. I wish it was updated, but I don't know if it really needs to be updated. When I think about the pace of like machines and their updates are real slow, and I think of the pace of like the Akai stuff, I don't know, if it needs an update. It would be great to have one, but I think it's still a good app, even without an update. Benjamin says, primarily because I don't have to jump around as much as I do on iOS. I get more done on desktop. He says, iOS DAWs are always lacking somewhere, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know if iOS DAWs are, the best place to finally settle out a track. I think iOS is great for creating music in, and then if you do have access to a desktop, it's probably a good idea to get those audio files over to the desktop to, finish certain things out. But I'm not going to lie, having like FabFilter in a touchable format is really cool. Like I was comparing using like Pro Q3 on the computer versus just using it on the iPad, and being able to like grab the area that you want to do a cut or put a shelf on or whatever, or notch is really interesting. It's a more tactile experience. It's actually pretty fun, especially with the Apple Pencil, so I think there's a case to be made for your Audio Evolution mobiles, for your Cubasis 3, for your multi-track studios. I think these are some pretty decent solutions for getting it done. And then Zenbeats just added sidechaining, which is pretty nice. So iOS DAWs are coming along. I don't know if they'll ever, have a true Ableton or a Bitwig, or, Apple should be bringing Logic over. If they did that, I think that would really change everything. But short of that, I don't know if iOS ever gets, one of these DAWs that got 30 years, 20 years head start. You know what I mean? And let's see. Mean Gene says tone boosters. Yeah, tone boosters got some incredible stuff. For those of you who are a little reluctant to grab FabFilter stuff, maybe the price is a little, too much, or you want something that also is going to work on the iPhone, grab tone booster stuff. It's really good stuff. There's nothing lacking with it whatsoever. And it works on iPhone. And for those of you in the skins and all that, you can change the color of the plugin. And they've also got desktop apps as well. So definitely reach for the tone booster stuff if you don't want to be stuck in iPad only world of, FabFilter. I know for some people, they want to buy apps that are going to be compatible on both platforms, such as Cubasis, compatible on both platforms, Audio Evolution Mobile, compatible on both platforms, tone boosters, compatible on both platforms. You get where I'm going. And I'm Steven Sucker says, I don't find a lack really. Maybe little tools could be added. I agree. Yeah. When, I had some strong criticisms about what iOS could and couldn't do. And I got back into the desktop world, and I got back on the machine and got to the Akai hardware and, tried every DAW pretty much that's popular, from FL to Pro Tools to Logic to Ableton to Bitwig. And, I thought they were cool for mixing and kind of arranging tracks maybe, but there's not much lacking in capability on iOS. There are some workflow quirks. I think I'd like to be able to drag and drop more stuff. And, certain little things are a little irritants, but in terms of being able to actually do it, I think iOS can do most of what desktop can do. And in a lot of ways, it can do it better. And Steven Tucker says the Apple Pencil and the Novation Control XL makes my workflow pretty fast. Yeah, so when you've got a controller and you've got a good workflow, I mean, you can just breeze on iOS with no pressure whatsoever. Like the Launchpad sometimes is what does it for me. I like to always change equipment out. So sometimes I'll be working with a piano like I am now. Sometimes you'll see me on a Launchpad. Sometimes you'll just see me using the screen by itself. add another piano. That kind of sounds like a piano already now that I've put crystalline and the filter on it. And I said this yesterday, and I'm going to keep saying this. If you got machine kits or you got splice kits or kits from anywhere, run them through BeatMaker, build out some kits for yourself for BeatMaker 3. If you're a BeatMaker 3 user, there's no reason you should not be kitted up. You should have tons of kits. And this is another thing. You're able to just load kits so quickly, like loading kits this quickly and then saving this quickly. Unheard of on the MPC. The MPC is going to take 30 seconds to save. Everything just moves so much faster on the iPad. And then what I like to do in BeatMaker 3 is if I know I'm going to be using more than one sound in a kit, I just duplicate the bank because it just makes the exporting process a little bit easier for me. Something sounds off with this snare. Let me see. All right, is that clipping it all for y'all? The drums, that's another thing I want to test. I want to make sure that the drums ain't clipping. Is that still coming through clear for y'all when I hit the 808s or I hit the snares? Where we at? South side. Let me switch to what else we got? G Ronnie. Slight clip on the 808. Okay. So maybe I gotta bring this down a little bit. Check, 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 check. All right, so I brought the volume down, I think, a little bit. Try the 808 now. Those are a bunch of different 808s, hopefully. Hopefully those work. Okay, Benjamin says, or like Ableton, I can drag a sound into the arrangement view and it automatically detects the tempo and I can warp it fast. BeatMaker 3 is a hassle for something like that. So is it the tempo detection or is it the warping that BeatMaker 3 is a hassle with more? I know you're trying to do both. You're trying to tempo detect and then warp. But what's more of the issue? Because I think, like, let's say BeatMaker 3 never gets updated, or there's never a BeatMaker 4, or whatever your app of choice is, there's never an update, but there's AUV3s to save the day. What is the solution? What is the workaround that we can come up with? Because I think that's what we need on iOS. It's like, how do we work through some of the things we're trying to get done? I know for me, Audio Layer allowed me to bring over a lot of my favorite VST libraries. I was able to bring them in, sample them through Auto Sampler and Logic, bring them in an Audio Layer. They perform wonderfully because of the disk streaming. So for me, it was like, all right, I was able to find an iOS solution to, a problem of not having the VSTs or AUs that I wanted on iPad. BeatMaker 3 says it's both. It's the way it loads sounds. So would you be better served using an AUV3 to handle the sampling, maybe a Koala, or does Segments have tempo detection? I know that a lot of people might not like the algorithm, the stretch algorithm, but does it at least do key and tempo detection? And could you take that information and then plug it in a Koala or something like that? Is there a solution there possible? I think devs on iOS should be following the vibe that desktop gives. Well, I think Cubasis has time stretching, and a lot of people think it's not too bad. And then Multitrack Studio also has time stretching. I don't know about the tempo detection, but I do believe it has time stretching. So, yeah, what AUV3s can assist with this? Because I think with iOS, most of what we want to do is actually doable in some way. It's just finding the workaround. And once we come up with the workaround, just bring it into the workflow. And then it's not such a big deal. You know what I mean? Let's see, and then let's do a row. Let's see. Benjamin says segments is terrible. It does, but it's not super accurate. It crashes often. But Steven Tucker says he likes segments, and he says the Cubasis time stretch is pretty good, and he says he uses segments to sample in Cubasis. Samuel, what up, Samuel? How you feeling, bro? He says Cubasis uses the same SDK as BeatMaker 3 to do his time stretching. So there you go. That's a pretty high quality time stretching, I believe. Is that elastic or something like that time stretching? I know that's what MTS uses. Zenbeats, I believe Zenbeats got to be able to do time stretching too, because they're bringing all them loops in and they're able to be tempo changed and all that with no problem and still loop. So I bet you Zenbeats got time stretching also. And I think when I read the credits of their about in Zenbeats, it said something like Zenaptic Elastic or something like that. And then, okay, Samuel says, and also Aria Pro uses the same SDK. Benjamin says the problem is when you're relying on too many. Okay. Samuel says they all use plain Elastic version 3. Okay, just like I thought. Benjamin says the problem is when you're relying on too many devs. If they fall off, then that method is gone and you're on the hunt again. Well, what AUV3s has that been the case for with you that's affected you? Or is it just like, it's just something you're worried about? Let's see what else we got. again, just doing this right here on desktop is way too tricky to be able to just scale lock a keyboard in whatever app that you got going on. Come on, Adam, don't trip on me. Adam's been crashing a lot in BeatMaker 3 for me lately. I don't know why, what the deal is, but yeah, for some reason, I don't know, like what's going on with Adam. Do I need to make it a pad specific effect? Let's see. Maybe that's what I need to do. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, in BeatMaker 3, there's levels. There's the top level, which is all of your drums together, like what you see right here. And then there's the pad level where it affects the individual pads. So sometimes when you're doing certain changes, you gotta do a pad level effect. And that's what I did here. So he says pad 13 right over here. So we're affecting this pad right here. And let's see what we got. Samuel says, if Steinberg brings over the Cubase sampler to Cubase, we'll have something to look forward to. Definitely. Have you heard any news about the Cubase's update? Is it coming soon? Is it going to be bringing anything special, or has it been pretty closed-lipped? Flunko says, Ableton uses Elastic as well. Well, ain't that a development? So Ableton is using the same technology that these other DAWs and AEV3s are using as well. So if it's good enough for Ableton, it should be good enough for iOS, right? Samuel says Elastic is pretty much standard for time stretching, but it's expensive to license. Hans says, yo, what up, bro? How you feeling? He says, yo, I'm saying, what up, bro? How you feeling? Let me be clear about that. He says audio was great and clear. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. I think I figured out what the voice echo issue was yesterday. It was because I had the audio monitoring in on the Switcher Pro app, and it caused a little echo. Kind of weird. I think the update that to their app probably created that issue because it didn't used to do that before. I'm Steven Tucker said, I would like a search bar, ghost notes, and true mono in Cubase. Amen to that. Them three. Much needed. I would like trackpad and mouse wheel scrolling support in Cubase in the arrange window. And I would like a better and more direct path to getting the Cubase's files to Cubase. I know there's like a little converter app or something like that. Maybe I need to look into that. But yeah, if there was something that like MTS keeps the whole file intact and you can bring it from iOS to desktop and vice versa, and it will create like placeholders for your AEV3s and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And Samuel says, there's a Cubase's update in the works, but no clue other than bug fixes. Hopefully they come with that sampler. I mean, they've heard you say it. I know I've seen you say it for quite a while. So hopefully they've taken all this under advisement and are going to do something about it. Hans, I want to know your thoughts. Is Cubase the, like, you've got MPCs, you've got machines, and you've got BeatMaker 3. For you, do you feel like BeatMaker 3 is, I know it's the best bang for the buck, but do you feel like just in terms of capability, outside of like NKS browsing, that it is among the best out there? Price notwithstanding, you know, like a $1,200, $1,100 machine plus, or BeatMaker 3 on an iPad, which is the better solution? I'm Steven Tucker says, I use a D-pad on my keyboard for my Zoom controls. Yeah, I did that too. I set up a template to do the zooming and stuff, but I still would like to be able to, like when you're recording and you're editing audio, to be able to scroll along the arrange window would be really dope. And even to be able to scroll through the AUV3 menu would be really cool also. Jamie Rice just stepped in the building and says, "What's good, everyone? What up, bro? How you doing?" And Samuel says, "Oh, they are well aware of all my requests by now." Yeah, they definitely have heard you. Hopefully they start to answer some of them. I didn't expect for them to do some of the stuff they did with keyboard support and whatnot. So they're definitely trying to improve it, it seems like. Hopefully they keep going. I think that's what it's all about. They just got to keep going. Let me see. Why is there like a delay? All right, I'm gonna start on something else. I've lost track with that beat. That ain't gonna make it. All right, so I said this yesterday. I'm probably gonna say it for a few more streams. The ultimate cheat code for your chords and whatnot. Get Scalar. It is the super cheat code. And then the desktop libraries that you can get for Scalar, like prisms and all that kind of stuff, they are compatible with the iOS version. So you see, I got all these chords that I've imported in, these chord sets rather, that I've imported in. And then you go ahead right here where you see the A and you just latch it. And then everything just magically becomes a chord. Not on the black keys, but on the white keys. All right, and Hans, who I asked if the Akai MPC or the Machine or BeatMaker 3 on an iPad was a better solution, has said if I was to start off today, BeatMaker 3 on an iPad all day, because of every AUV3 I can bring in and the fact that the workflow in BeatMaker 3 is crazy good. I agree totally. I had been overlooking and sleeping on BeatMaker 3 for quite some time, but I realized like everything I was really trying to do, BeatMaker 3 was capable of. It was like, whoa, okay, I want to be able to make kits really, really fast. Okay, we got KitMaker that can make you kits. You know, bring your machine grade, Akai MPC grade kits directly over to the BeatMaker 3 format with no problem. I want to be able to use AUV3's AU MIDI. I didn't realize how much I would miss it going to desktop and trying that out, and realizing so many apps didn't have AU MIDI, and it was like something I had come to rely on. We got that in BeatMaker 3. We can use MIDI route in order to route the MIDI to another track internally with BeatMaker 3. There's just so many ways to accomplish whatever workflow you're trying to, do. One could argue, well, there's no drag and drop, but I mean, that's like a novelty thing. Yeah, drag and drop would be cool, but there is a file system and you can just drag the folder into the file system and then load it there. So it's not the biggest deal. It can do audio tracks. I don't think it can do sidechain compression with an external compressor. But again, if you were to do this with an Akai or with a Machine, you would probably be making your beat and then bouncing the tracks out and sending them to your DAW. So if you apply that same technique here, I think you're good to go. I know me, I'm not going to mix a track in Machine, right? I like all my stuff to be leveled out at Unity, send it to the next DAW where I'm going to be focusing on the audio aspect, and in that DAW, then I will start to really tweak the levels. And let's see, Samuel says, I hope to get updates soon with motivation, core CPU rendering, and other modern features. Are you talking about, I think he's talking about BeatMaker 3, because on the previous post, he said BeatMaker 3 is still top notch without any real competition on the iPad. Yeah, I agree. He says, and Jamie Rice says, the sampler learn on BeatMaker 3 makes it worth it. Flunko says BeatMaker 3, I'm guessing he's saying is greater than, like basically greater than Machine or Akai. And then Hans says, I make more music using BeatMaker 3 than I do using my MPC Live 2 or Machine Plus by 80%. Easy. Easy. That is huge. We're talking about a $30 app outdoing $1,200 hardware in terms of ease of use, inspiration, portability. It's an incredible day to be a music maker. You know, it's incredible blessings we have where we can just, for these really cheap apps, have world-class capabilities. And I wish there was a scroll lock on Scalar so that it didn't scroll. Maybe there is and I just missed it. But another thing I like about Scalar is you can use the suggest, and then I want to stay in the scale, so maybe try that. And let's see. I'm Steven Tucker says Cubasis has external sidechain. Yeah, so, and I think Audio Evolution Mobile has sidechaining. Multitrack Studio MTS has sidechaining. So there's a lot of Zenbeats now sidechaining if you wanted to be in that world. There's a lot of iOS apps capable of sidechaining. And Han says definitely an incredible time. Ed B says, hey there, iPad beat making, and everyone in the chat. What up, bro? How you feeling? I'm Steven Tucker says, this is a great time to be a music maker. That's 100. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we got Scalar. Like, this is crazy what we can do on an iPad. Like, it's not even fair. And I'll be honest with you, I do not like the Scalar workflow on any desktop app more than I like it on iOS. It's so cool to be able to load it in as an AU MIDI. You've already got it attached to your sound that you picked without routing it manually. Like on desktop, you got to route all that stuff manually. You got to send the MIDI from this track into that track, and then you got to mute the felt piano and make it just MIDI only. Then you got to go note by note. Then you got to go MIDI capture and then drag the MIDI. It's like, man, that's too much work. Whereas with the AU MIDI format, it's way slicker. All right, let me switch that out. All right, I think I'm gonna go with that. Hans says, got to use Scalar a lot more than I currently do. Yeah, definitely grab Scalar. Not grab it, use it more. It's really nice. And then when you get some of the chord packs you can get that kind of have like the neo soul or the gospel or the R&B stuff in mind, it makes it a way better experience because it gives you some of those complex, super note heavy chords that just give you instant vibes. Benjamin says, that's why you build templates on desktop. I don't do any routing on desktop. Well, the same could be said, of course, for iOS with whatever the frustration would be for most users. You can always build a template out or a starting place. But all that aside, having the AU MIDI format, is Ableton getting AU MIDI? I know they're getting AU V3, but are they getting the AU MIDI format also? If they're getting the AU MIDI format also, that's pretty incredible. And Ed B says, iPad is my main recording and production platform. I have Mac computers, but much more like working on my iPads. Yeah, they're pretty incredible. And the fact that, when you travel, is so much smoother with an iPad. Stephen Tucker says, my computer crashed years ago when I was a FL user. I went to school for audio engineering and all we used was Mac. So when I seen the power in the iPad, it seemed like the natural way to grow. Absolutely. And it's like every single day there is a new developer coming over from desktop. We got Baby Audio, who's getting real heavy out here now with the ports that they're bringing over to iOS. They brought Crystalline over. They started off with I think the 2 free plugins, and then they brought Crystalline over, and then they're bringing another one. It's like 4 or 5 letters. I forget what those letters, like INHY or something like that. They're bringing that over, and that should be pretty special. So Baby Audio's there. We've had Eventide already. We've now got Scalar. It's starting to look like, if you're not getting on iOS, you're kind of looking crazy out here. There's also this other not beat making app. I think it might be a plugin. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full app or if it's going to be a plugin, but it's on desktop. That's coming over to iOS. Satella, I think that's how you say it. Satella just made it from desktop over to iOS. That's got an incredible ability to, on the fly, go through the file system and switch out the sounds on the pads. So you're looking a little crazy as a developer, not bringing stuff over to iOS or having iOS in your view and taking them into consideration. The progress is crazy. All we're missing is that desktop class DAW. And even with the desktop class DAW, I would probably still use like a BeatMaker 3 to make the beat and then send it over to the desktop class DAW to do the mixing like I would do on a desktop. I'm Stephen Tucker said, Baby Audio said they want to bring everything they can to iPad. That's going to be incredible. That's going to be incredible because they've got some really good stuff. What I got to test out, I meant to test it out, but I haven't gotten a chance to test it out yet, was seeing how well a session made on iPad transfers over with the Baby Audio plugins. I know it doesn't work properly with Eventide. I let them know already. It works properly with the Fab Filter stuff. So if you got like Fab Filter Pro Q3 on iOS and you use like MTS or Zenbeats and send it over to desktop and open it there, the Fab Filter stuff will hold the settings and everything. It'll work just fine. Eventide won't. I talked to them about that. I got to see if Mixbox will. I don't know if Mixbox will, but yeah, I'm probably do a demo testing out all the different plugins that I got on both platforms and seeing, how well they transfer over. Because that's another big thing to consider also. You could start a mix on the iPad and then, finish it on the desktop in the same app. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. Oh, we got 16 people in the building. Not too bad. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Let's see. search the sound. And then the file system with BeatMaker 3 is pretty dope too. Being able to, okay, why can't I gotta pull the keyboard button when I got a mouse. Okay. Not feeling none of them, so let's get out of Akai. Let's go on a splice. Clap. Do I not have a sample named Clap? Huh? Maybe not. All right, let's go find another kit. That's crazy if I don't have a clap in all these trap drums. That's wild. Han said, for real, I can't wait to get them all. Replying to the statement about Baby Audio bringing all their stuff over. That's going to be incredible. All right, moving on. I ain't feeling too inspired this morning, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm just seeing what happens. Just vibing with y'all, really. Oh, be sure to check out Genuine Sounds. Also, I was talking about this yesterday, but I think it's a really good library. If you got your Pearson Platinums and your Neo Soul keys too, if you got like all the bread and butter stuff, this is a good app to add to the collection. I don't think you should get this before you get Pearson Platinum, but if you got all those and you've had them all for a while and you just want some new sounds, definitely check out Genuine Sounds Volume 1. Probably before you check that out, get Decent Sampler, download all the piano book stuff. And after all that, if you're like, dang, I need some more sounds, I need to, stay inspired with some different kind of stuff, then check out Genuine Sounds. I compared this to Colossus. I actually like this better than I like the Colossus stuff. Let me go to Colossus real quick. But I'm not a real piano player. I think maybe for a real piano player, they might feel different. But let me see. Is Colossus on here? See, we need searching in BeatMaker 3, though. Searching and scrolling for these plugins. Colossus piano. There we go. The load time is crazy because of all the velocity layers. Yeah, I think for a real pianist, they'd be able to maybe appreciate all the subtleties. But for me, not the biggest deal, but we'll try to work with it a little bit. Actually, let me run Scalar again and see what it sounds like with real chords being played through it. And then in Scalar, if you're not aware, is they got strumming. It's like magic. It just does it all for you, and then you can humanize it. Yeah. So get Scalar for sure. Get some chord packs for sure. Transpose it up. Benjamin, how you liking Prism 4 or whatever they're calling the new Prism if you're still here? How are you liking that kit? Is it worth it? Like, is this cheating? I gotta know, is this cheating? Like, it feels like it's cheating. But if people are able to use loops and that ain't cheating, is this cheating? Let me know. Said, yeah, definitely a search function for the AUV3 and better organization. It's on the list. Okay, cool. That's a step in the right direction. I'll take that. And what I like to do, this probably isn't too popular, but what I like to do with something like this is I like to then enable Atom and get an understanding of what exactly is going on with these chords that I just made in Scalar, right? So I want to be able to see all the detail of the chord. So I'll go ahead and enable record inside of Atom and then play it back on BeatMaker 3. Really quick, let me disable the quantizing. So let me clear this out. Delete everything, start from the beginning. Quantizing's off now, so it'll keep the strumming intact. All right, so now I'm able to see exactly what's going on with these chords, because these are some the stuff with this specific chord pack are pretty unique. Like some of the keys are, inversion, some of the chords are inversions, and all kinds of stuff that's just not traditional chords that most people starting out would play. So this allows me to get a view of what's going on. And what I like about Atom is it sets the stage for if let me actually disable it because I don't want it to play both back. I want it to stay playing BeatMaker 3's back. But what's cool about this is I then can add another track. And let's go with, I think Pure Synth Platinum might be a safe bet. Where's that at? Let's see, Pure Synth Platinum, and I'll get the bass out of there. Bassalicious, and we'll just pick a random one. All right, so we got our bass here. We don't know if we'll settle on this one, but I'm gonna add a MIDI effect, add Atom. And from this, we can see the layers, and now we've got ghost notes added in a BeatMaker 3. So, a great feature would be nice if BeatMaker 3 had ghost notes, but what's cool is using Atom, you now have given yourself ghost notes, and you can go ahead and you can follow the bass note. And I'll probably have to drop this down an octave, but let's just say, you know, you want to follow the bass note. Oh, actually not. I need to probably raise it an octave. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And just that easily, you're able to draw in like a lot of people like to do in FL Studio. So yeah, we can just follow all the root notes of the piano chord. And if you don't know, this is a good way to, at least starting out, to kind of get a solid bass that you know is going to more than likely work. And then later on, you can kind of get, you know, kind of freaky with it. You can add, you know, little random, you know, octave jumps and things like that into the bass line. But you could start off with just following it to see what it's going to sound like. Like I'll add an octave jump to this one. You know what I'm saying? You could throw that in there. You know what I mean? And then you would repeat that again. So Atom Piano Roll 2 makes it a lot easier to work with. And then what's really cool is when you use the pencil, you can do like Fruits Ninja style. You can use your finger too, but the pencil just makes it easier overall. You can double tap to go from the add mode to the select mode. You can see it along the side right here. If I tap the side of the pencil, it jumps, which is, you know, just a handy little feature to have. Hans says, does Scalar allow better guitar playing? Maybe if you use a guitar plugin, you know what I'm saying? It'll give you the strumming and things like that. So I would say, yeah, definitely in certain ways it'll give you more natural sounding if you're using like a guitar plugin. Hans says, I call it being inspired, not cheating. Fresh 360 says chords. I'm Steven Tucker says, Scalar is a great learning tool. It's very much like having a music teacher in your pocket. That's a fact. Timbo said there's no such thing as cheating in music. Music isn't a sport. All right, cool. As long as I ain't tripping, because I for a minute was like, dang, it just feels crazy. It feels so unearned that I'm able to, you know, put these chords together and, you know, I have not gone through the formalities of all that, you know, teaching that people spend years going through. But hey, man, y'all good with it? I'm good with it. People are using loop packs and winning, you know, putting their own touch on things. So I think whatever tools we got at our, you know, and people didn't used to have nail guns and drills when building houses. So, you know, we use the tools we have. Why is this short? Let's see here. Okay, because we turned the loop off. Yeah, let's turn the loop back on. So yeah, I really like bringing Atom into the workflow. It just, you know, kind of gives you, if you are a fan of the FL Studio feel and you're like, dang, you know, the iPad is cool, but I still want to have some of that FL style chord drawing. Well, Atom 2 is your solution. I mean, look no further. It's superior in a lot of ways. The one thing that it doesn't have that FL Studio has going for it is all them lovely keyboard shortcuts, you know, like selecting all, Control A, and then hitting Shift and clicking and it copying the chords for you. And, you know, just the keyboard shortcuts is what I would really say you'll miss the most about FL Studio. But if you enjoy using the pencil, you know, to kind of draw it, but drawing with the pencil is pretty cool. It feels really hands-on. So, some people like the drawing in method with the pencil, some like with the keyboard and all that, but I think BeatMaker 3 via Atom 2 is definitely keeping pace with a lot of what FL Studio can do. Let's see, let's go to Waverly Excel because we got some cool sounding pads in that. And we can go ahead and use Atom again. And if you don't have Atom Piano Roll 2, grab it. It's mandatory. Yeah, you gotta have Atom Piano Roll 2. It's just so useful. There's so much you could do. So let's see, what scale were we in? Let's go back to Scalar, and I think we're in G sharp minor. Go back here and just go to G sharp minor. And then we can see immediately, I like to always do this just to be sure I've got it right, is I like to make sure that what's highlighted is matching everything, like here, here, here. Make sure everything matches and lines up. And that way we know we're good. And what I just did was I mapped it to the white keys, so the black keys will not play any notes. And I've got the whole scale remapped across the keyboard, and this gives me the tactile feel to be able to play stuff if I want. Or if I feel inclined, I can just go ahead and, draw in. I can go, let me draw in, you know what I'm saying? So who knows how that's going to sound, but let's see. You know what I mean? So stay in scale, easy, draw it in, get that FL Studio style workflow, or you could scale lock your keyboard and you're good. Let's see. Tom Kelly says, just finished work and dropped in to say hi. So please see iPad BeatMaker dropping the BeatMaker 3 knowledge to everybody, and also incorporating Scalar and Atom 2 killer apps for advanced users. Absolutely. TK32 on Discord. Okay. Yeah, you're responsible for the design of that gorgeous manual. You were a great beta tester for Atom Piano Roll 2. So you're definitely responsible for helping get it to where it's at. And yeah, we appreciate you in the community for that, because this app is incredible. And the manual is incredible too. So yeah, it was a team effort. Overall, man, y'all did a great job. When you got good beta testers, things just go right. You see some of these other apps that I'm not going to name right now that have recently come out. It's kind of clear that there was no beta testers involved, or very thorough beta testers involved, because on the first launch, you could just see the bugs popping out. That was never really the case with Atom Piano Roll 2. So that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, what I'm trying to highlight is that there really isn't this super lack on iOS that I think we've kind of made in our heads. I think when we compare it and we see like, what can we really get done? What can we really accomplish? Yeah, the iOS path might be different than the desktop path to actually get there. You still can do 90+% of what you can accomplish on desktop with some kind of workaround, some kind of workflow. All right, so I'm gonna lay that, kind of like how that sounds. Last note got to get changed. And now we're in BeatMaker 3's piano roll. which isn't a bad piano roll per se, but when it comes to the note editing itself, I highly prefer Atom Piano Roll 2. But what BeatMaker 3 does better is down here in this area for your velocity, when you want to ramp up drums or hi-hats, and you know, I don't want to use the tool right now, but it's just got some really cool tools that make it, I like it better than Machine's actually for drawing in, velocities and stuff. Machine is a little clunky. Someone just left a comment. I'm not confirming or denying that. And then again, I recommend, hold on, let me stop this real quick. If you got desktop VSTs, audio units, whatever you want to call them, that you really like, and say you're on a Mac, sample them things and bring them over to Audio Layer. Do yourself a favor. Don't deprive yourself. Whatever your favorite stuff is, take a weekend, take a week, whatever it takes. Take some free time. Bring some patches over. You might do 10 a day, right? But in 10 days, you got 100 patches. Or you might just, grind it out and spend the whole weekend doing it if you got that kind of time. But whatever your favorite patches are, from those expensive VST libraries, the ones you spent $300 on or $1,000 on, sample them. They're yours. Get the vibe. And now you've got it on iOS, which Audio Layer supports disk streaming. Stuff loads super fast. I tried this on, I said this yesterday. I'm sounding, if you were here yesterday, I sound like a broken record probably, but I tried this yesterday. I'm not yesterday. I talked about this yesterday. I had the MPC. I tried to bring those same patches over to the MPC. To load it took 3 minutes. To save it took 3 minutes. It was a nightmare. Whereas and then on top of that, I maxed out the memory so easily. Whereas on iOS, it's just butter. It just flows. In some ways better than desktops, depending on which desktop you're actually on. So definitely bring your stuff over to Audio Layer if you've got those libraries on desktop, especially if you're not even really using the desktop like that because you're more on iOS. Man, sample them libraries. Let's see. Or G sharp minor, I think it was, right? One thing I wish would happen system-wide, and I like ZenBeats for this, is ZenBeats remembers the scale system-wide, and I don't think that's Atom's fault. It's working with different nodes, but like ZenBeats remembers the scale system-wide. And another app for those of you who really like AUM but want to sequence MIDI would be to use Zequence. It says about Scalar and other tools that provide a scaffold. I use them when convenient, but I try to remember that I can only create from what I can hear. And Han says we definitely take iOS for granted. I agree. We really do. When you really take the time and put it toe to toe against other equipment or a computer, and you really just focus on what can it do, or on the computer, what is it you're doing that you like so much? And then you kind of reverse engineer that and say, how could I do it on iOS? I mean, it opens up a whole nother world of possibilities. If I could go back, I'm not going to say I don't like the MPC or I don't like the machine. Of course, I love them. They're great devices, but really, starting from scratch, sky's the limit with what you could do with an iOS device. It's pretty incredible. Steven Tucker says, a good audio engineer could skin a cat in many ways. Absolutely. If you just had iOS, you're good. And then I don't know, Ed, if you're still there, do Chameleon or any other apps natively support the EXS24 format? For me, that was another big thing, was being able to sample in Logic's auto sampler, and then I can just bring it right over with no pressure. That's another thing that made Audio Layer really special to me. Let's see, go back to Audio Layer. Like, I've got some of these patches are just like, this one is pretty big, but there's other ones I've done that are even bigger than this. Let's see. I think I did like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I showed this yesterday. Velocity layers. So it just gives you so much range of, taking a bass patch and, really getting it to be desktop class. Let's see, what was I looking for in here though? Let's see the guitar. Like this one, I think I probably sampled every semi with three velocity layers. I felt like 3 was enough. But yeah, I did every semitone in this all the way up. So yeah, it's a lot of samples. And then I did them round robin too, so it's actually double the samples that we are actually seeing here. Let's see. Yeah, so got some cool little guitars, because I think on iOS we were lacking acoustic guitars. So I sampled a few that I like from desktop. If I hit it hard, you get that. But if I hit it softer, you know what I mean? May says, you said audio layer patches on your store. No, I do not have audio layer patches on the store. I have them stored If I said store, I'm probably talking about how I've got them stored, but no, they're not on the store. And to me, that's as good as a desktop sounding guitar. I mean, that's not even ran through any effects, you know? It sounds pretty good to me. In the hands of a more competent player, I mean, I think you'd be good. I'm gonna just play a quick little, because that's all I got for it. But a person who really does this, man, what? All right, so I'm gonna bring the velocity down a little bit. Let me see, where is it at? Let me merge these real quick. Do they need to be merged or are they good? I think they're good. Okay, they must need to be merged because there it is right there. How do you merge these? Let's see, split. Will that merge it all? Yeah, that merged it all. All right, cool. So, I think I dropped my pencil. Let's see. And let me take this part out here. DJ Amizi says, they sound nasty. I need them sounds. Yeah, man. Sample, sample, sample. Go sample crazy. If you got a Mac, use Logic, use MainStage. There's a lot of free VSTs, AV3s out, not AV3s, audio units out there on desktop. Some of these guitars were free, just free little demo downloads. You just go ahead and grab them and sample them in. Elmay says, how does Adam work with the patterns of BeatMaker 3? That's a good question. That's a better question probably for Tom or TK. Or Hans. They'd probably be better, more familiar with the patterns and all that with Adam. I really don't get that deep into BeatMaker 3. I just stick to the linear timeline, so I'm not sure at all how it would work with the pattern is saying is the piano roll. Is that what it is, or is pattern like scenes? Hans says, that guitar sounds great. Appreciate it. So yeah, it's easy on iOS. It's when you come up with the workflow, like, here's what I want to just have some key little quotables in some of these streams for people who just might pop in, see a person making beats, not really familiar with iOS. one thing I want you to take away about iOS is really about just learning the app and optimizing the workflow that best suits you. Think about what it is you're trying to accomplish on desktop. There's 99.9 times out of 100, you know what I'm saying, a way to do what you're trying to do on iOS. If you want to sing auto tune, you can do it in Cubasis, or you can do it in Audio Evolution Mobile. We've got Scalar. You want an MPC style workflow, machine style workflow, we got BeatMaker 3. You want a traditional DAW workflow, Cubasis, Audio Evolution Mobile. You want you like rolling, go Zen Beats. I mean, so much you could do. You can hook up MIDI controllers, no problem. Right here is a complete control S49. It's no problem. It works. You can hook up Bluetooth devices. I mean, sky's the limit with what you could do with iOS. It can all be done. And we got some really good sounding apps from some relatively unheard of developers. And for you FL Studio lovers who like that piano roll, again, Atom Piano Roll 2 is your answer. We got that here, and it can do some pretty cool bonuses also. Move that to the end of the measure. See how it sounds. Let's go ahead and and for you excuse me, for you BeatMaker 3 users who want to have some really cool sound banks, I recommend you check out E.N.I on the track. He's got some really nice bundle kits for BeatMaker 3, really fairly priced. If you want some more packs that are really compatible with it, do I have them on this one? Let's find out. Just getting off topic real quick, but I want to show love to other people who are making BeatMaker 3 kits that just make life for iOS. Man, so many kits. Let me see all categories. Carnival. Okay. So, like. So let me see. He's got a whole bunch. Let's see. Distant Whispers. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Grab. And there you see it's color coded. Lot of stuff you can do. So like this is. Let's see. Let's see what. first of all, it's way too, that's the dry sample, which sounds great on its own, but really with something like that, you want to back it all the way up. You know, since we're using crystalline today, let's keep that same energy. Let's rock crystalline. Put a little air on it. So, let's see. So, let me see. So, if I wanted to take more time on it, I could get that sample to, you know, sit better with the timing and in the mix and all that. I don't know if I care to right now, because what I'm really trying to do is just demonstrate the different sounds that this kit has on deck, which is pretty good stuff. So I definitely recommend you checking out E&I on the tracks, BeatMaker 3 kits for sure. And let me go ahead and move on to the next sound. Let's see. May says you gotta adjust the key. Yeah, I ain't used the kits in a while, because I just getting back on BeatMaker 3 from my world tour of trying out desktops, laptops, machines, and MPCs and all that. So I'm definitely rusty on BeatMaker 3, and especially rusty with that kit. Definitely got to get better with the file system. It's been a while. Let's see. Bring that in. Yeah. Han says, shout out to E&I. El May says, E&I came through with those kids. Yeah, for sure. And be sure to check out his channel too, y'all. He's got some real nice stuff he's put together using BeatMaker 3. So definitely got to keep supporting the iOS community. Keith says, I've never been on here before. Real nice. I used to watch what products were on sale on here. What's happening, people? What up, Keith? Appreciate you pulling up. Hopefully you enjoying the vibes. You said you were looking at what was on sale. What apps did you grab for iOS? What are you usually working with when you're making beats? He said Cubasis BeatMaker 3 on an iPad Air 4. That is what's up. So are you making beats in BeatMaker and then mixing them on Cubasis, or sometimes you're making beats in Cubasis and sometimes you're making beats in BeatMaker 3? And are you doing any vocal recording? Down a little bit to G sharp 2. So So yeah, so this is the regular level, and then when I've got this selected, I can hit this piano button at the top, and I get down to the note level, the pad level, and I can move all this stuff down to a different note or up to a different note if that's what I want to do. And in this case, I want to bring everything to G#2 and see what it sounds like. So I think that sounds a little bit better. I don't know if I'm sold on the kick totally yet. It's a little aggressive, but I think it kind of gives it kind of a mixture of a little trap and B vibe, which I think is kind of cool. Let's see what we got going on over here. Russ is in the building. Says, what up? He says, hello, iPad BeatMaker. How you doing? What up, bro? How you feeling? Hope everything is good with you, man. Let's see. Keith says, I'm using Cubase's 3 or BeatMaker 3 just to themselves. Record vocals in Cubase's 3. That's good to know. What kind of vocals are you recording? Are you singing, recording rapping, something else? What kind of vocals are you recording in Cubase's 3? And do you have any of those tracks on your page or in the wild? I don't mean to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer that last part if you don't want to, but I am interested to know what kind of vocals are you recording in Cubase's 3? Says, you're making me want to pull up BeatMaker 3 and work it a bit. Yeah, that's what we here for, man. We trying to inspire. BeatMaker 3 is that baby. J.A. says, new version. I hope you are not referring to BeatMaker 3 because this is the same old classic that it has always been. And then another app I've been loving to use, I just really tried it out. I got inspired from this from, what was it, Shaperbox, I think it was. I've been using, I think it's free too. Grab this, it's free. I think this one's free. PanFlow. Basically, this allows you to have like automatic panning of your hi-hats. Let me solo this real quick. How do I solo on here? I forget. All right, there we go. So let me turn this off. That's what it sounds like normally. And then if you got headphones or stereo speakers, you can hear it jumping around. So then what I would do, I think that's a little too extreme. I would bring this to, I only like panning about 20 or 30 max, you know. But it just gives it a little bit of movement on its own. And then you could make the speed a little slower. So yeah, give you a cool little, you know, way to move your hi-hats, make them a little bit more dynamic. There's other apps that can probably accomplish this also, but I think this one is free. So definitely something to look at. I think Pan Station can do something similar. And you can hear kind of that it's dynamically just moving on its own. Takes a step out of automating it yourself. It's just, it does it for you, which is pretty dope. Too bad, huh? All right, we got J.A. says, oh, I got excited there for a second. Man, listen, BeatMaker 3 in its current state is still plenty to be excited about. So I'm just kind of relearning it, learning to relove it after trying all these different solutions on desktop and MPC Lives and all that. I'm like, dang, let me go back to BeatMaker and just see, is it still that baby? And man, it's really smooth experience. Keith says, singing rarely, making beats. I'm a keyboard player and iOS app collector. Aren't we all, man? They're just so easy to collect. It's just $5 here, 99 cents there, $10 there. A $20 app is looked at like, ooh, that's really expensive on iOS. So yeah, I think we all become collectors, even if we don't mean to. And Han says, for all wanting to know, just want to let y'all know, BeatMaker 3 is not dead. Intua is still going. That is all. His lips are sealed on any other details, but if you were wondering if the developer is still in the art of making improvements to the app, or maybe making a new app, there's proof of life there. So definitely don't give up on BeatMaker 3. It's plenty good still. And then Steven Tucker says Cubases has an auto pan in the effects pack inside of Cubases. That's very good to know. Fresh 360 Music says, sounds dope, bro. Appreciate it. I think I want to put some widening on that guitar. I want it to be more stereo. The one thing that's confusing about iOS, though, is that every app categorizes apps differently. So when it's, last on one menu, it's first on another menu. Like right here, it's categorized by the developer, which is a Tasty Pixel for like Loopy Pro. Other apps go by the name of the app themselves. So it can get a little confusing sometimes on where things are at. So if you see me kind of like confused through the menus of the AUV3s, that's why. Because it's like, on certain apps, they're alphabetical, and on other apps, they go by the developer first. So I'm trying to find the Mushroom Audio Widener. I might not be able to find it in this list, though. I might have to, because I don't see Mushroom Audio on here. There we go. Infected Mushroom. All right. Wider. All right, so I'm going to put this in a loop real quick. Because I just want to hear the variation that this plugin is going to. That's what it sounded like with nothing. And then we can widen it out. That helps it out a little bit. And remember, you never want to, I don't like doing pans in the extremities, because more than likely if you're doing extreme pans, you're wearing headphones and you really like the way it sounds in the headphones. But a lot of people only got one AirPod in or earbud in as they're working out or walking and talking or whatever, or listening to your music. You don't want to do extreme pans because some of the data is not going to get heard. So I only like to do pans that, even 54% is a bit extreme, but I wanted to hear the difference. and it's not a key factor in the track where, you know, it can kind of float in the background and not really be a big deal. But I would stay away from like 100% pans, stuff like that. So in the chat, I want to know what apps are y'all mixing in? Are you mixing in the same apps you're creating your music in, or are you exporting your stems and bringing them into another app? Let me know in the chat. Curious to hear y'all workflows. And if you wanted to say why, that's cool too. Steven Tucker says, I only make music for people who use 2 speakers at the minimum. I want surround sound mixing on the iPad for real though. I wonder if there's an app that could kind of give you some of that ability. Let's see. He said, I heard someone say that BeatMaker 3 doesn't knock. I didn't know what they were talking about, and this thing is knocking. More proof. Yeah, BeatMaker 3 absolutely knocks. At the end of the day, it's all just digital samples, man. If they knock on this device, they're gonna knock on that device. You know what I'm saying? Like, this snake oil people be trying to sell like BeatMaker 3 sounds inferior. That's crazy. It's all about sample selection. If you go on Splice or, you know, wherever else, get some good sample libraries, man, you're in the game. Steven Tucker said, full production in Cubase is 3. Let me kill these drums real quick. All right. Full production in Cubase is 3, except mastering, I'm using Lursen. Okay, let me ask you this. Why Lursen instead of like FabFilter, Pro L2, or Pro MB and things like that? Why do you go to Lursen to master instead of using a mastering plugin? And Square Breaker says, I love BeatMaker 3 and Koala Sampler. Yeah, those are definitely 2 great apps. Hans said, use the Vox Ambience from Crystalline on guitar. Is Splice better than LoopMaker? What is LoopMaker? I'm not familiar with LoopMaker, but I know that Splice. If they're not the biggest, they're close to it of big, close to the biggest marketplace to be able to download sounds and sound packs and all that for credits. Maybe I'm misinformed, but to my knowledge, Splice is probably the biggest. Let me see. Hans says, I make the beat and mix everything in BeatMaker 3. I have so many dope AUV3 effects to use. That's a fact. Okay, what would you say to use the, let me find it, Vox Ambience. Okay, let's try that out. He says use that on guitar. I don't know why I like this delay so much, but this is one of my favorite delays. I love this other Desert Cities delay. It's just got a sound to it that I think is super dope. See, Hans says to Keith, who asked if Splice is better than LoopMaker, he says, in my opinion, yes, way more to pick from. Okay, so he's heard of LoopMaker, and yeah, Splice is that deal. Steven Tucker says, I make my own mastering chains in Cubase, less DSP used if mastered in Lursen, plus I actually like the master. Dig that. Might have to check that out. He says, I may have to go get that subscription. Yeah, definitely get that Splice subscription and take care, bro. Appreciate you pulling up. Definitely join the Discord. Let me drop the link to the Discord real quick. Hold on. I should have been done that. Let me grab the link to the Discord. Let me actually, real quick, getting the link to the Discord. Just one moment. Edit invite link. Copy link. All right, I'm dropping this in the chat now. But yeah, appreciate y'all pulling up. I'm finna get on top of a few things over here. But be sure to join the Discord. And be sure to keep creating in iOS and sharing. We need more videos from the community. So keep on creating, keep on sharing.